What is up guys, this is your buddy Deepak Bangar from Profitable Traders, and this video we are going to see how to beat inflation in 2022 and beyond. What are the inflation investing strategies? Do popular investment options chosen by common people like fixed deposits, gold, real estate, then government bonds, stock market actually are able to beat the inflation? I'm going to share with you top 3 investment assets that you can invest your money to beat the inflation in this video, and at the end I'm going to share with you out of these 3 what is my number 1 option for beating the inflation consistently on the basis of the data of last 20-25 years. So let's begin. If you are new on this channel and you haven't subscribed, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button to get the updates about the quality stock market education for becoming the consistently profitable trader and investor in the stock market on this channel. In the last video, we had discussed about what is inflation, what are the causes and effects of inflation, what is the inflation rate declared by the government, and what is actually the inflation rate of the common commodities of daily life essentials. If you haven't watched that video, I'm giving the link of that video in the I button above, so check that out. If at all we have to beat the government inflation rate, then there is one option, and that is to put your money to work. You have to invest your money for increasing its value or the returns by at least the government rate of inflation, and that is in the year of 2022 it is around 6.95%, and it is expected that this inflation rate is going to go up in the near term. That means you need to invest your money in an asset class which generates at least 6.95, let's take it approximately 7% of the returns on your investment. And when it comes to beating the inflation of the actual commodities or the things that we use on our day-to-day life, for example food, housing, medical care or health care, then fuel prices, etc., etc. So there we have discussed that the inflation rate for this kind of essential items is at least 10 to 12%. So we have to have an investment avenue of which can give at least 10 to 12% of annual returns consistently over the last so many years, if at all we have to protect the value of our money. And I'm just talking about the protecting the value. If at all you have to increase the value of your money, then you have to generate definitely more than 10-12% of the returns from your investments. So let's talk about what are the investment assets that can beat inflation in 2022 and beyond. The first one is inflation indexed bonds. These are the bonds which are, or the securities which are issued by Reserve Bank of India. And what these bonds do is they promise a fixed percentage of return over and above the inflation rate which would be applicable for that particular year. Let's say at a particular time the inflation rate is, let's say, 7%. So what these bonds will do is they will give you 1.5%, for example, guaranteed return over and above the inflation rate, that means 7%. So the total return which will be generated by these bonds will be 8.5%. An important point to remember here is the inflation indexed bonds are taking into consideration the crude rate of inflation which is declared by government in general. So the overall average inflation rate and not the commodities or the daily life essentials inflation rate. Investment avenue is gold. Let's have a look at the historical returns given by gold for the last 20 to 25 years. You can see that gold has been able to deliver the average CAGR or the compounded annualized growth rate is approximately 9 to 12%. In the times of uncertainty in the economy, investors prefer to invest or park their money in gold because it has got a limited supply and it's considered as a safe haven for when it comes to parking your money in the times of uncertainty in the economy. The third option is real estate. Now, real estate, there is no centralized data as such to determine what are these CAGR of real estate as an investment class. But we can get a fair idea about how much these real estate investments have delivered the rate of return in the past 20-25 years on the basis of certain data declared by the government, like housing price index. And as you can see here, the average rate of return given by real estate sector, it does beat the inflation. Of course, it depends on the type of commercial type of the property, then location of the property. The challenge with the real estate investment is the problem of liquidity, and it's a high ticket entry cost. You need a lot of money to invest in the real estate. The fourth option is stock market or the equities, investing in the equity market, stock market, Nifty 50 or index, sensex. So these are all the different options, or the directly investment in those stocks. These are all options which leverage the power of stock market in beating the inflation. So let's see on the basis of data how much the stock market or Nifty has given the returns over the last 25 years. Let's look at the data. So as you can see on the screen, Nifty has been able to deliver approximately 11 to 13% of returns consistently per year as CAGR or the annualized rate of return on the basis of the data for the last 25 years. What this means is, even if you have just invested in Nifty index or the sensex via index funds, or just by directly purchasing the Nifty Bs, your investments would have generated around 12 to 15% of returns over this duration. Even if you don't have knowledge about how to choose the stocks for investing directly, still you can take the advantage of the stock market via equity mutual funds or the index funds investing, which invest directly in the Nifty or the sensex. Now let's talk about which among these 4 different asset classes is my favorite option for beating the inflation in 2022 and beyond. I prefer to invest my money and beat the inflation by investing into the direct stocks. And I'm going to share with you my reasons. The first reason is the ease of liquidity of the investments. You can liquefy your stock market investments at any point of time. And you will be able to immediately get the access to your investments. Second thing is, there is no limit on how much up the stock can go. If you compare the other investment options that we discussed to beat the inflation, there is a limit to the upside to the returns that these asset classes can generate. But when it comes to stock, if you are good at stock selection, literally you can maximize your returns. Many times there have been few stocks which have given consistently more than 30% of annualized rate of return. The only thing is, you should have those skills to identify those stocks, and you have to stick with investing in these stocks with patience during all phases of the economy. There are no liquidity issues, there are no legal issues, unlike real estate when it comes to the stock market and investing in the direct stocks. So this is how we beat the inflation in 2022 and beyond. These are the investment in inflation strategies. Let me ask you a question. Are you investing in the right investment assets to protect the value of money, to protect it from the inflation? Are you able to beat the inflation? Where are you investing your money in? If you are not investing your money in those inflation beating assets which we discussed, then actually you are losing out the money. So let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite investment asset to beat the inflation? If you find this information valuable, please do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified on priority whenever I upload the stock market education related information, which actually is going to help you to be a consistently profitable trader and an investor on this channel. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.